It's 10:25. Alisa, maybe we can make sure if everybody's here. And it looks like the messages I'm receiving looks like maybe we are live streaming.
Yes, if we can take a minute and just do a test, that would be great, just to make sure that it's streaming.
Sure.
I've asked one of my coworkers to let me know.
Okay. And then you let me know, and then we'll start back up with Kathy, going from where we left off.
Yeah, Marty, we
Yep.
I would like to ask you to retake the motion to approve the minutes. We were not
Sure.
streaming at that time.
Okay.
So if we
Will
could go back
do.
to that, and then we'll pick up with Kathy.
Okay.
Okay, so just a minute and we'll get this tested.
Director Pack, question for you. Should I go back to the beginning or pick up where I left off?
Why don't you quickly go back to the beginning and just restate
Okay.
the status of the PERS entry and then go from there,
Okay.
just to be transparent.
Yep.
Still waiting on confirmation.
Oh. Kathy, I just got kicked out of my internet. Can you still hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay, then I'm not going to worry about it. It probably has to do with work.
Nick, so we have a new link to the stream, is that correct?
Yes, for some reason when the stream it died, and YouTube will not let you restart a stream that has died, so I had to create a new one.
Okay, so I'm going to have to communicate this out to the public. Let me get it updated on the website. So if we can wait a few more minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, and Marty, I kind of got kicked a little bit off of my meeting too. I had to re-enter the code again.
Okay. As long as you guys can hear me, I'm not going to worry about it right now, but I don't know. If we have a few minutes, I'll try to reconnect into my other.
We do. I need to update the web page,
Okay.
and I will send a notice out via email.
Okay.
I'm just confirming that the website update happened, so it'll be just a minute. I did also send an email out to the group of people that we notify.
Okay.
Nick, are we streaming at this point? Are we paused?
We are currently streaming.
Okay. Okay, it sounds like everything is live online.
You have your confirmations, Alisa?
I believe so. I received a couple messages that people can hear me speaking, and I think we are good.
Okay, then let's thank you. Let's rejoin the the meeting today. And let's make sure that we have everything we need recorded, and let's go back to the approval of the minutes. So the minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move that the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on August 26, 2021 be approved as final as presented today.
Thanks.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Saathoff.
Aye. For the record, the motion is passed. I believe what we're going to do is move to the financial report. And Kathy, you're going to summarize a little bit of what you had done before we thought the live stream was, before we knew the live stream had stopped, and then we'll go from there. Correct?
Yes.
Great.
Good morning, Chair Saathoff, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Kathy Ortega, Chief Financial Officer for the Oregon Lottery, and we are going to go over the operating results for the first 2 months of the year through August 31st and the operating statement. Before I jump into the numbers, I just want to summarize something that I had mentioned before we went off stream, which was that I had been asked a question on the FY21 financial statements about the large PERS entry that we got from the statewide accounting office. And I am continuing to look into that. I don't have resolution. I am hoping for a correction that will result in me coming back and asking you, once we have resolved the matter, for reapproval of the FY21 financial statements. But that's what I have for you on the status of that issue. Starting off again, the operating statement for the month of August, we had a $368,000 positive revenue variance on game vendor charges and games equipment parts and maintenance and timing difference. I mentioned that on commissions, we have straight lined the commission calculation evenly throughout the year. That is not how the retailers go through those tiers. You should see this reversing itself as the retailers go through the tiers by the end of the year, which is similar to what happened last year. And then finally for the month, we are 1.476 million under budget on the net profit line for the month. Moving on to the year-to-date statements for the 2 months of this fiscal year, we have a $3.335 million favorable revenue variance. You can see down the line what I was speaking of previously on the operating statement, and we have a $2.046 million favorable variance on the net profit line. I have the schedule of services and supplies for you today. That variance that you see on intergovernmental charges is typical of what we see this time of year, as our Secretary of State audit charges are front loaded in the first part of the year, whereas the budget is straight lined. So that will reverse itself. I also have the balance sheet for you today. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments from the commission? Kathy, I just have one question on the operating summary for the month. It looks like with respect to video, we are not greatly, but slightly down actuals to budget. And I understand now what the increase in expense is. Is there anything, are video lottery revenues down because of the pandemic, or is this just an anomaly and we're not too worried about this?
Chair Saathoff, I think it's a function of the forecast and the time of year. On a week-to-week, year-over-year basis, we continue to exceed last year. We did mention that things would start to soften as things reopened, but it's not our strongest time of year. So I would, as has been the case in the past, I would expect to see those strengthening as we move forward into the more seasonal, the better seasonal portion of our year.
Okay, it's just so unusual to see a video even at all under budget. That's why I thought I would ask, but thanks. If there are no other questions or comments, is there a motion to approve the monthly financial statements?
I move the Oregon State Lottery financial statements for the month ended August 31st, 2021 be approved for the record as presented today.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Saathoff.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Great. And I guess we'll move to our rulemaking informational agenda item, and Kris Skaro.
Thank you, Chair Saathoff, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Kris Skaro. I'm the Rules and Policy Analyst for the Lottery. And as you know, pursuant to direction from the Commission, we are engaged in negotiations with DraftKings to move our current digital sports betting game from the current platform over to the DraftKings platform. And while the game itself will be very similar to our current game, we will need some rule and policy changes to support the contract and transition process. So I wanted to update you this morning on the status of that work and the process that we'd like to use going forward. I'm going to try to share my screen here. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay. Okay, so you can see here an overview of the process, and this is the similar to the process that we used when we launched Scoreboard in 2019, so it should be pretty familiar to folks. We are in this first stage here where I've identified areas where I anticipate we will need some updates, and I will continue to work on those changes as we learn more about the final contract and the features and requirements on the new platform. Once those changes are finalized, I will present those to Director Pack for review. If he approves, and assuming we meet all of our statutory requirements, we plan to adopt temporary rules to avoid any delay in the contract or launch process. Those temp rules will be available to folks in real time online, and we would also share those directly with the commission and also our interested parties and legislators and media folks who receive all of our rulemakings. And then we would move shortly thereafter into the permanent rulemaking process, give folks many weeks to read the rules and share any comments they might have with us. And the last step, as usual, is to ask the commission to consider adopting permanent rules, probably sometime early next year, depending on how the timing goes. So that's the process you can expect to see in the coming months. Hope that's helpful. Obviously, more details to come on this. I'm happy to discuss further. Otherwise, that's all I had for rulemaking this month. We have a couple rule changes that are still out for comment, so I will bring those to you next month, but that's all I've got this month.
Thanks, Kris. Questions or comments from the commission? The only thing I wondered, and I probably should know this, but do you, and maybe this is a question more to you, Director Pack, do we look at these rules sometimes and ask ourselves whether the rule is absolutely required of us? Some of these things, like I kind of note where it says that we needed to draft some rules so that they know they can't now go forward on the scoreboard platform, that they have to use the DraftKings platform. I keep asking myself, some of this stuff feels very operational internally. And I guess I'm wondering, do we ever ask the question, do we have to have a rule on that? Because obviously when things change operationally, then you've got to come back and we have to amend rules. I'm sure you do that, but I guess I've just not know that I'd ever asked that question. Do we have a regular review of, do we have to have this rule or not?
So thank you for the question. I can take a stab at that. So it is a good question. It's one we get a lot. I think lottery is a bit different from other states in that we do have specific statutes that require administrative rules on certain topics, like, you know, how to play a game, how to win a prize, just basic game elements need to be in rule. And so that's just our practice. And in the event of a dispute, it's useful to have rules in place that govern those. We try to keep them pretty high level, especially for a game like Scoreboard. We do have very detailed rules on the platform, and also there are many pages of terms and conditions. That stuff's not in our rules. But some of the basic gameplay, we've just generally been advised that we do need that in our rules. So we end up with a lot of rules.
Yeah. So I take it the answer is we do think about that.
We
at least.
definitely think about it. Yes.
Okay.
We definitely think about it all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Hearing none, I guess I will pose the question to the commission or others if there's other business we need to take up at this time. Okay, this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 27. Thank you for attending today's meeting. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thanks.
Take care, all.